family. It's your boy. Happy Halloween, ladies and gentlemen. We got something scary for y'all freaks and geeks. Got ourselves a 426 built for boost, all forged. We're just doing all motor for this time around. When he comes back next time, we're doing trans, fuel system, power adder. For now, he just wanted the motor. That way she can get in there, get used to it, start planning. He doesn't know what route he wants to go fully for the power adder. So for now, we're doing what is known, which is this motor. So obviously, it's set up for boost. Oh, this is loose. Set up for boost, so the compression is lower than if you did a NA 426. But she's not doing too bad considering low compression, 93 octane. So took out the air filter, just a little bit of testing. You can see where she's been around. So not bad considering what she's going on. What's going on, J Money?
Oh no.
I don't know if anyone can even hear you.
Oh no. Break it?
Maybe. Don
Did mine last week.
Yeah, Don Daughtry's in here asking about when he's getting his 300 shot tune. So
Send it.
send it, baby. Look at him. Editing the site. This is what goes on behind the scenes. There's things on his mind. All right, let's get into it, guys. I know you don't care too much about that. So let us see. I'm streaming again from my phone. And also, I shaved because I'm feeling funky, feeling fruity, feeling fun. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Stop talking to me. This one, I believe the intake is finally set for it. I have been gone on vacation, so I'm catching up to where we're at on some things. So some things, I don't know. Shocker. When has that ever not been the case? So let's see what else we got. We got a little twin turbo manual kitty cat in the Shopperino. Doing a little smoke test on it, making sure everything is 100%. I do believe we found some leaks already, which obviously, as y'all know, as I've been through, exhaust leaks affect tuning. I'm zoomed in. There we go. Exhaust leaks affect tuning. I had saw Dan earlier. He had the turbo off and the mid pipe manifold, whatever the frick frack. I'm not going to swear, but whatever you want to call it, the thing that goes up there yonder ways, right up there. He had that off, was cleaning her up some. We got the old smoke tester out. Danny boy staying hydrated. Let's see what else we got. We got a little 300 action. You know, me and my affection for 300s. This one, the trans was cooked with a capital COOKED. It was cooked. We are going to have to switch from this to that unless they already did it. There are differences in the splines on transmissions. I believe, I want to say, don't quote me, the '06 to 10 SRT cars had the 4 bolt, and the non-SRT cars had the 3 bolt, which is really convenient because when you do a Getrag 306 LSD from a 12 to 14 car, it's a 3 bolt spline. So if you are having a non-SRT car and you're putting it in, it just bolts in with drive shaft and all. All you need is a rubber coupler. Not the case for the SRT get-ups. Luckily, it's just a little nut and you pop it off. Been there, done that. Wonder how I know. It's not like I have a NAG 1 or something. See what else we got going on. We got an open lift. This is a rare occasion because that car was there. That car was back there. So now it's open. I wonder what fascinating adventures are going to come back on. What is up, gang? A lot of your YouTube names, I don't know who Oreo is. I can take a guess at who Melissa Satera is. But hello, everyone. It's good to see y'all. That crown shining bright, baby. Shining bright. We got a little BMW. I want to say this is an X5, but it might be an X6. It's an X4. Damn. I got. But we're doing a little detail Reno on her with the anniversary badges. I had these on my E39. I used to have a BMW, guys. I had a 99 E39, and I kind of miss it. It was a huge pile. Like, it was probably one of the worst vehicles I've ever, not even owned, but seen. Everything that could be wrong with it was wrong with it. But there was just something about her, you know. You know me and my horrible cars. I loved her, man. I miss her. I got to get one again. I got to get me another pile of garbage BMW. That's about all we got going on out here, gang. Nothing too crazy. Let's step on inside. I don't see CJ. I do see little baby Zoe. What up, Zoe? That is about that. All right, guys. I don't have anything written down as per usual. Prepared.
I didn't get to eat, so I might eat on here.
We can get a burger review, a fast food burger review from a place that's not known for burgers. I kind of think that might be good.
I don't know if that's.
Guys, put ones in the chat if you want to see Jeremy eat a burger on the live stream. Put twos in the chat if you don't want to see that because you hate Jeremy and want him to starve.
I'm just relaying the message that the girls are disappointed. What's going on, everybody? Still waiting for people to join up here, so I was naked. The better temperature days we've had over here, so why is everybody rating ones and twos?
It ain't snowing this year.
6-7, 6-7.
6-7. I didn't hit the bit right on the highway. 6-7.
This is so much like quicker.
I don't know.
What?
I don't know. What do you mean it's quicker?
It's so much more live.
Hi, guys.
You just gotta sit like that. There you go.
I'm Princess Peach. Or
So-
something.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know if we can say that.
I'm Princess, Japanese mega corporation that's very lawsuit happy.
So for those that don't know, Tulo literally said that he would wear whatever we told him to wear. And he threw the idea out of a pink dress and a tiara. So
And Jeremy thought this would fit me. He
I
said,
mean,
it fits me. I think he's got the
I
wrong
don't
dress
think
in mind.
Yeah, I think it was a different woman.
This is as much as I can go. Like,
watch your hand there.
I know.
So hopefully one of the girls at least. I don't know if they're napping yet or not, but
so I'm wearing the crown because I haven't bought another car in almost a year.
She's concerned about the crown, but not the dress. So
Blower only PB last night, 9.6 at 143. Full tank rear seat delete. My man, when are we getting you on that 200 shot, 300 shot regiment? We got to get all our boys on that. This is very uncomfortable.
it is.
I'm not going to lie. It's
Yeah.
even more uncomfortable watching the playback on the camera.
Yeah, so I think everybody else knows. I don't know how it responds.
So we have 3 1s.
What are those
And
for?
1 2. So the 3 1s are people that wanted you to eat on the live stream. The 1 2
Oh.
is someone that doesn't want you to eat on the live stream because they hate
Oh.
you and they want you to starve. Per my words. And
Oh.
look who voted 2. There's gonna be a talk tonight at home. Aww.
Aubrey, he is so funny, but she is so serious.
You will get this bag tonight in perfect condition. It will not be damaged at all. You heard that. It will not be damaged in the slightest. You will get it back exactly how you lent it to me. Somehow the dog has gotten out.
So we need to. It's okay. Anyways, all right. So
I know what you do on that couch.
yeah, right. She loves the couch. So we'll get to the subject at hand since Tulo brought the Halloween spirit.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just like tuck it in your shirt or something. You don't have to be that uncomfortable. But Flex Fuel. So it's a conversation we have multiple times a day for all customers.
Oh.
So.
Give me my crown back. Okay, here.
Oh, you want me? I'll get the crown.
Yeah. There we go.
There we go.
Not kind of like a circus.
All right. So, Flex Fuel is something Tulo and I exhaust in regards to conversations on a daily basis. So
It is literally daily.
It's very important, and we want to, you know, we do this conversation on these lives a couple times a year just to revisit it and make sure the facts are still stated and people hear it as it should be. Oh no!
Oh, I didn't damage it.
No, there's no damage.
Y'all witnessed it.
So it's just pulling up on my hat.
I know.
It's a little tiny.
Dude, yeah, it puts pressure on.
It does. So
it was made for like a child.
We're gonna go over the different types of flex fuel, and then see if any people have questions about it to kind of clarify, right? And just kind of break down what it is, how it works, and why it's important. Is she going back in? So first, we'll talk about probably one. Oh, that was a birthday crown. That makes so much sense.
Oh, you brought the wrong one.
Yeah.
You done messed up, Ron.
It's all right. Don't worry, it's coming home. So, no, she's my favorite person. Anyways, there's multiple flex fuels. The first one we'll talk about is the piggyback system. I would probably say this is the one that's most advertised on the. You better not do what I think you're gonna do. It's the most advertised system on the internet, and the reason being is very good marketing, right? I give them props to that. So what are the piggyback systems on the market, and what do they do? So you plug them into your injector harness, give it power, and that's pretty much it. So all of your injector plugs, basically, it's a little piggyback that goes in between. Then there's a little box that's a secondary. It's a piggyback secondary little processor.
She must be watching the live. Hi, Dory.
So there's what do you call it? The secondary computer processor that's put into place. What it does is it does reference an ethanol content sensor, so that's a positive. And then what it does is it uses that ethanol content sensor to intercept the injector signal and then alter the injector pulse width post PCM. So what I mean by post PCM is this little piggyback is changing the signal after the computer already sent it to the injectors. So on ethanol, it could E85, 85% ethanol can add 35% fueling to the injectors and increase the pulse width accordingly.
Wait, does that mean that the PCM might not know that it could be exceeding a limit?
Exactly.
Uh-oh.
So that's one of the big issues with these piggybacks. Built into the computer, there are injector pulse width limits, so us as tuners can use those as a safety piece. It tells us, and it also helps us calculate injector duty cycles. So that's another measurement put into place to basically figure out if you're maxing out your injectors or how much room you have in regards to more airflow and power. With these piggyback systems, your computer does not actually know how much fuel is being flowed, okay? The reason for that...
Did Melissa's comment just get banned?
Retracted. She probably removed it, maybe? I'm not sure.
You're going to get banned, Melissa.
So, So it literally, for example, if your injector pulse width is supposed to be 12 milliseconds, it will increase it by 30%, bumping it up to 16 milliseconds, right? But the injector pulse width limit may be 15. The computer doesn't know it's actually opening the injector 16 milliseconds because of this piggyback system. So that's one of the downsides to this type of system is the computer doesn't actually know the fuel that's being delivered. Why this is also important is this also goes into torque calculations as well. Yep. So these computers have a big math equation that's constantly going on in the back end for fueling, airflow, throttle input, and all conditions to calculate load and the actual, an estimate for torque. Why is this important to know? Because on the transmission side, these shift settings are all based off of calculated torque. So if you're making more torque than the computer actually knows, when you might need increased line pressures or a shifter or a quicker shift, right? For heavy load, your computer doesn't know that it's actually making more torque anymore. So you lose out on some of those safeties that are in place in regards to actual torque management that we use to preserve the transmission. The other thing that this flex fuel system doesn't do is it doesn't change timing. So I get it. Some people say you don't need to change timing. Yes, can you make more horsepower just by ethanol fuel because of how it burns? It's cooler and everything. Absolutely. But you are leaving room on the table. Yeah. And ethanol fuels do like a little more advanced timing because it burns slower. So it's not necessarily just not necessarily just a performance thing, but it's just based on the characteristics of the fuel as well. So the piggyback systems eliminate that. So what they do is they can be dialed in to the point where they would deliver correct fueling for you based on the ethanol change, but you lose out on timing adjustment, you lose out on torque calculations, you lose out on the safeties of the computer because it doesn't know. actually how much the injector is opening. And this is also why they advertise it can be used with stock injectors. I have personally tried on pretty much every vehicle I've owned just to make sure, throwing E85 in the tank and just tuning it on stock injectors, and it cannot happen. You exceed 110, 115% duty cycle. It doesn't matter the vehicle. It doesn't matter. 392. Hey.
Oh. So.
Time for a new couch.
Yep.
Put her in her room. So.
No,
yeah.
You already had your fun.
So. Nope. In your room.
You already had your fun.
So. This is why we get slightly frustrated with the way it's marketed and advertised, and when also people say, "Oh, I do it. I've been doing it for a while." They don't really know what's going on the backside of it. With you do proper calculations and tuning for it. Okay, so it is something to consider that I have done it. I've made posts about it.
And the rug.
What?
And the rug.
Oh, rude. Oh, you scared her.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. Yeah, just because you can doesn't mean you should, and also just because somebody else said they did it doesn't mean you should as well. So, Dory.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's kind of the big thing of
Golly! Wow. I love it.
Shooting. So. That's our biggest thing about it is that the computer doesn't know, and there's a lot of things that get missed there. So yes, it does adjust your feeling. You'll get accurate feeling, but it doesn't do timing. It doesn't do torque calculations, and you lose the safeties on it. So it's also not safe. Again, just because somebody said they did it doesn't mean they know what's actually happening and that you should do the same thing. So consider this when going with that setup. So that is, again, the piggyback system for flex fuel. Number 2. This one we call inferred logic flex fuel. So this came out in which essentially it uses your O2 sensors to guess what the ethanol content is. Again, this one has no ethanol content sensor in place, so it has no way to actually measure the ethanol content.
Yeah, it's probably 73.
It is all based on a math equation and guessing. That's simplifying it, but that's exactly what it is. Now, how does this work? So, the computer itself relies on you having your tune dialed in perfectly, meaning your injector data is on point, your fuel trims are less than a couple percent in all given areas, okay? And then basically what happens when you fill up your tank of gas, when there's a large swing in your gas tank, meaning you go to the pump and fill it up, it goes through a learning process. And then essentially all it does is it monitors your O2 sensors during the learning cycle, and when it sees a lean condition, it starts adding fuel until those fuel trims balance out again, and it goes, oh, I added 15% fuel, it's 50% ethanol, and then bam, it throws that setting in the back end, and then it thinks it is 50% ethanol.
If it's going off the O2s, could an exhaust leak affect that?
Ooh. Or a vacuum leak.
Or a vacuum leak. Uh-oh. Yeah. Something we see very commonly.
Yeah. So those are things that aren't talked about when it comes to inferred logic. Yes, it is 100% based on your O2 sensors. It's based on the correction that it puts into place. And then with that correction, it gets a final fuel delivery. And then it does its math equations on the back end and guesses what the ethanol content is. So this is a reason why we don't use it. Now, this isn't a jab at any tuners that do use it or prefer that system. They do use it for OEM on vehicles. Shoot, our minivan, our 16 Dodge Caravan is a flex fuel vehicle. So some people ask, well, why if they do it on there, why can't we do it in the aftermarket world? Well, this is why. This is the thing about it, okay? If you think about factory vehicles, why didn't they do inferred logic from the factory? It's because the margin of error, guys. So most of the vehicles that get it, like this little 3.6 liter
it's a normal
V6,
passenger
it's
car.
a normal passenger car, and it's more so of just to kind of iron out the fuel trims, and abuse is minimal. And if the margin of error, right, if you're off a little bit on the fuel, and the car's not going to eat itself. Yeah. Now you have a 1,000 wheel horsepower car, and the guess from the inferred logic is off, bad things can happen, okay? Now, mind you, there are a lot of tuners, like I said, that have put a lot of time into making this system very accurate and working well for them. It is a personal preference for me not to use it. And it's because of the cars I've had to repair and the things I've had to repair because of it. Okay, and it's just personal preference. When it comes to it, we always err on the side of caution. We prefer reliability over power.
If you can do something safer, why would you not?
Yeah, and so this is kind of why we just chose not to kind of rely on the system. Again, there are good tuners out there that have spent a ton of time on it and have the system working very well. But again, it's not resistant to mechanical defects or hiccups on the computer side of it. Okay, so that's something we always just kind of talk through when it comes to these options. So again, no ethanol content sensor in place. It guesses what the ethanol content is, and then it basically rides that setting out until you fill up on your tank of gas again, in which it will hit the learning piece. And then it will learn again, and then once it learns, it sticks, and there on after. Do understand that with the inferred logic 2, it isn't constantly learning. So once it learns and it freezes, that's where it stays. It isn't constantly going until, again, there is a change in the fuel. Okay, so just keep that in consideration as well. But yes, exhaust leaks can throw it off, vacuum leaks can throw it off, misfires can throw it off, if they're present during the learning process. So yeah, keep that in consideration. Also, inferred logic, in regards to safeties, there's nothing in place that offer any type of additional safeties with the inferred logic compared to pump gas or a standard tune. So that's the second one. So rounding up again for new people that added, first one is a piggyback system that intercepts the injector data. Inferred logic uses O2 sensors and then essentially guesses what the ethanol content is based off their math equations and a lot of settings in the background that a lot of good tuners have done very well with it. Okay, so the third option, which is something that took us several years to come up with, get to work. Thank you. We always shout out HP Tuners for this, for what they did to help us out. But our system, we call it censored flex fuel now. We had a name change over the years per request of others, so make it easier to understand. Our system's a little different. So it does use an ethanol content sensor. It does feed back into the factory PCM. Now, to give a little history before we dive deeper into our system, flex fuel derived and came from GM vehicles. GM guy, right? So they came out originally with an ethanol content sensor that fed into the factory PCM. You enable a couple switches, throw a couple settings in, and bam, a GM vehicle is flex fuel from the factory.
It's so easy to do flex fuel on a GM vehicle. I did it on my Sonic without any clue what I was doing before I worked here, and it literally took me 15 minutes.
Yeah, so it's
stupid easy.
Yeah, it's very awesome, right?
Yeah.
So when trying to come up with flexibility, reliability for the Mopar platform, I tried to figure out how can I get that same type of concept from the Dodge PCM. Worked really hard with HP Tuners to come up with it, and we've done pretty well with it. In early stages, I did offer it for everything, but found out with different calibration IDs, the non-Hellcat powered vehicles didn't like it too much. So there was a lot more variables hidden in the PCM that we didn't have access to at the time. So we stopped doing that. So we only offer our flex fuel system for Hellcat powered vehicles due to the capabilities of the PCM. So back to how it works. So it's an ethanol content sensor that feeds into the factory PCM. Again, based on the ethanol content, everything changes. So your fueling changes, your timing changes, your torque changes, which is important, like we said, talking about the first option. So it adjusts the transmission settings as well based off of that. The other thing that we were able to do, because of the way the PCM works, is we actually have a lot of safeties in place with our system, which is one of the big reasons we do prefer ours as well. Something that our system is the only one that offers is boost bleed. So what that means is I have the ability to put settings in place where if you're a very aggressively boosted Hellcat powered vehicle and 17, 18, 19, 20, 25 pounds of boost, and you fill up on pump gas, right? That in normal circumstances, even in inferred logic cars, they tell you can't abuse it on pump gas. Well, ours, we don't recommend it still just because we are relying on a PCM, but you technically can. Ours will bleed the boost down to a couple PSI of boost. So that's right. If you're on a pull-it for 25 PSI, you fill up on pump gas, I have the ability, when the ethanol content drops, to have the fueling adjusted, timing adjusted, and then bleed boost as well. So that's great, right? For those that those street cars, right, that want to travel, go on road trips, those drive and drag type setups where ethanol might not be available on the road trip, but you still want to drive it. You know, you can do that, fill up, and then it bleeds the boost automatically for you. So it's something that's huge for us, and something that we, you know, we're really happy once we got that to work. That was a little bit harder than, you know, just getting it to work in the first place. You know, also our ethanol can be displayed on the dash by request, which is pretty cool. So you know, it took us a lot of time, right? And it's still not the easiest to tune either. It does still take a lot of time for us to incorporate it, even after all the years. I've actually taught a couple tuners how to do it, Zedong Ho, Tim Barth, and they agree it's not the easiest to tune because, again, all the calibration IDs are different. So when we're manipulating the computer, the way we do it kind of throws things for a loop, and we have to, you know, kind of adjust on the fly. And as the years come out, more calibration IDs come out, it makes it more interesting for it. So it is a very complex system, but again, we do prefer to have the safeties in place and a more accurate system, right? The other thing that's nice about it as well is, you know, in a system we like to look at the worst case scenario. So let's say your ethanol content sensor fails. Well, it defaults to pump gas timing. So automatically, you know, it puts it to a spot that's safer. It will bleed the boost automatically if that sensor goes out and fails. So, you know, for example, if a map sensor fails or an IAT sensor fails, you want some sort of fail-safe in place to prevent damage. This system works in the same manner where it kind of goes into a limp mode status until that is corrected. You know, and something that's really nice about ethanol content sensors being in place is they do read ethanol. So they don't read gas or water, detergents or anything like that. It's alcohol based. So I've actually seen where people were test tubing their ethanol at gas stations, and everybody was showing 70, 80, 90%. And then one of my flex fuel cars filled up and the gauge actually showed like 5%. It saved that car. Because think about that, if you filled up on a test tube and it showed 80% and you have, you know, a tune you're flashing for 85% ethanol, that's not a good thing. So that the flex fuel in that situation did save, you know, save that vehicle. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of the three variables of flex fuel. So, you know, again, recap, we have piggyback system that just adjusts injector duty cycle or pulse width, basically post PCM. So there's nothing feeding back to the PCM. You have an inferred logic, which uses O2 sensors and the fuel trims to adjust, excuse me, you know, the end-all guess of what the ethanol content is. Again, all based off a guess. And we have our what we call censored flex fuel, which uses an ethanol content sensor that feeds back into the factory PCM. So one of those, I know somebody made a comment, like some of the fastest cars in the country use inferred logic. So here's the thing about it. Most of those guys don't ever go back and forth, you know, and it's more of one of those things like, okay, if you have E85 in the tank and you fill up and you want it to vary for the 5%, you know, a 5% variance on ethanol content is very minimal, and inferred logic is just fine for that. It's 4 when you get, you know, 85% because you're at the racetrack with C85 in the tank, and then you go back to the pump and it drops to 67%. You know, it's one of those that, you know, the accuracy behind that is crucial. The timing too. Ours is immediate. That's one piece I left out. Ours is immediate. So essentially, whatever the fuel is at the rail, that's the setting that the PCM is delivering. There's no learning. There's no wait period. You don't have to guess to see.
And the sensor is pre-rail. Keep in mind.
Pre-rail.
Pre-rail.
What?
In case they don't know that.
No, it's at the rail. It's not
That's what I
pre-rail.
mean.
It's at the crossover. Your coffee warm.
My bad.
So
the dress is getting me.
What we say is our ethanol sensor is at the rail, meaning the fuel that's going through your fuel rails is what the ethanol content sensor sees. So it's immediate, right? You can be driving on E85, fill up on pump gas, and literally as the ethanol is dropping, the tune is changing on the fly as quickly as the fuel is delivered to the rail itself. So it's immediate. So it's the fastest reacting in regards to all things considered, from safeties to, you know, the settings that are in place. So another thing we really pride ourselves on with that is the rate at which it, obviously it's accurate. It's as soon as it gets to the rail. So so where's the place for all of these, right? Personal preference, the piggyback system's not a fan of it. And I run a piggyback on like our Hurricane equipped vehicles. I had the JB4. So it's not that I'm against, you know, piggyback systems. It's just when it comes to what it's doing and what you're trying to achieve with it, I just don't think it's worth it. You know, for the non-Hellcat powered vehicles, honestly, it's more cost beneficial. Throw an ethanol content gauge in and then get multiple tunes for it for the time being. Inferred logic, I get it. You know what I mean? I did run it on my, I had a Coyote that I did it when I was playing around back in the day. I had it, I get it's not a Mopar, but I had a ton of issues with that working there. So again, PTSD, call it. And that's why I don't offer it as a system for mine. But I just, I get it. I probably would get more customers if it was an option, but I just don't stand behind it enough to where I can confidently say it's going to work all the time. And it has, it really doesn't have fail safes in place for if the system isn't working correctly. There's no way to check, and now even a lot of the tuners that are comfortable with it, they even tell you to still install an ethanol content gauge in the vehicle just to cross-reference to make sure it's working. It's one of those things where I just prefer it to be a system that's in place. So for example, we have glove box gauge pods that we make where you pop the glove box down and your ethanol content's there. So we just prefer, if you want to check, you can do that. Like I said, we have the option to put it on the dash as well. So in regards to on the screen, which is pretty cool. So it's just one of those. We prefer safety over anything, right? We prefer the how quick it is, and the fact that it works. You know what I mean? So it does take a lot to tune it. Still a lot of time for me to implement it. You would think with all the ones we've done, but the truth is, because of how much time it takes, I only can do like a dozen or so a year. In reality, maybe more, because it does take a couple weeks every time to do one. So no, we're not using other names here, but so that's kind of the the gist of what it works, and kind of the benefits of it, right? It's flexibility, the ability to know accurately the quality of your fuel. That's why we prefer ethanol-based fuels over race gas, right? You can pour C16 in a quarter tank of gas. Well, what's your actual octane? What's the quality of the gas? What's the blend? You don't know.
It's very easy to measure with ethanol.
With ethanol, you know at least how good of ethanol you have. Sure, the other variable of it, right. If it's 85% that 15 or 70% that 30, you don't know. But you at least know you have good ethanol for what it is, and we can come up with a safe tune setup for that, So that's kind of it. So who is Flex Fuel for? Who benefits from it? Anybody. This really is one of those. The biggest argument I would see on the internet, which we can debunk now, and anybody can try to debate back, but the big thing people say is an E85 specific tune is going to be faster and make more power than a Flex Fuel tune. And I will debunk that right now, and that is not true. So we offer Flex Fuel. We also offer non-Flex Fuel where we supply multiple tunes. I can tell you this. My E85 tune is the exact same as E85 ethanol in Flex Fuel. Same exact in regards to power delivery, reliability, and everything. So my E85 tune is not going to make more power than a Flex Fuel tune at 85% ethanol, right? Now, this is the only kind of argument. If you have an E85 tune, but you're at 70% ethanol, then naturally our Flex Fuel tune at 70% ethanol might make less power, but that's the whole point, is an E85 tune is supposed to be for a higher concentration of E85. You should not run an E85 tune that's made for E85 at 85% ethanol on a 70% ethanol-based fuel. You should not. You absolutely should not. And that's the difference, is people think they can, or they're not really sure how that works. So, as an example, we do E70 and E85 tunes when we do ethanol-based tunes without Flex Fuel. So my E70 tune will be the same as 70% ethanol on a Flex Fuel tune. That's how it works. So we got to stop thinking that an E85 specific tune is going to be faster or make more power. It's not. A Flex Fuel tune will make the same power at the same ethanol content as long as the tune is written for the correct ethanol content. It's just, you don't have to flash a tune, it does it on its own. So the reliability is much greater because of those variables, right? We use our Satera Spice from out front race fuels all the time, but the truth is, we drive around on pump gas, pump E85, and then we dump it in there. Well, guess what? Even though what I'm pouring in is 85% ethanol, sometimes it lands at 78 or 79%. So you want to pull a little bit of the fuel out that would normally be there in the case it was 85%, right? And this is the other piece of it, which we did it a couple weeks ago, because Tula wasn't here last week. It's very sad. But some people say, oh, it's okay because you can still run pretty aggressive timing on 70% ethanol, and on a Hellcat powered vehicle, let the wide bands do the correcting.
Huh?
Yeah.
Run that back.
Yeah, so, oh, okay, so it's going to be rich because you have 85% ethanol tune in place. So going down to 70%, normally you'd pull a little fuel out of it, right? But people are saying, oh, let it just ride that rich O2 reading
Let it ride,
and
brother.
then let it correct.
Let
Well,
it
again,
ride.
this is the example we give. He's my O2 sensor. I'm the fuel, okay? So it's rich. Guess what? I'm
Oh.
going to hit him and then he's going to move.
Oh.
So what that means is your engine is seeing those rich conditions before the O2 sensor can make the correction, guys. You got to understand that. So relying on it is not good. Sure, it's okay for the, while we're tuning, we use it for the correction factor, but we want to get it down to a couple percent correction, right? But if you're sitting there with a 10% fueling correction, your engine is seeing that. Same thing if you have an E70 tune and you put E85 in it. If it's 10% lean, your engine is seeing that lean condition.
It only knows it's 10% lean because it ran 10% lean.
Exactly.
It's the only way it knows. It's not, oh, hey, just based on this, I'm going to. It is, I did.
Yeah, exactly. So to rely on the O2s, I've seen some people that sit there and say, oh, it's fine if there's 25-30% correction. The O2s can do that, bro. Come on.
You can do an upper pulling injectors. Yep, the O2s compensate for it. They're Y bands, bro. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and the processor speeds and everything like that aren't like a standalone where it's immediate. So yes, eventually will the long terms kick in, so it's not exactly. But then you change fuel again, and now it's relying on reversing them. So
it's like a Dell laptop from 2008. It gets the job done, but not the quickest thing in the books.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
just keep that in mind. It's not meant to be relied on as let's make more power. Dodge gave it to you for that. No,
right,
not at all.
Yeah. So that's kind of our thought process when it comes down to these things. It's don't rely on the O2s. Don't rely on those. It's just like knock sensors, same thing, right? People rely on the knock sensors to adjust your timing. I've seen that on the internet. Oh, just you got the knock sensors. That's what they're there for. Understand the only reason a knock sensor is working is because it's seeing knock. It's seeing the detonation happen, so it's going ow, and then it's pulling it out to try and get rid of it, right? It's backing up, trying to get rid of it.
My favorite is that's that's fake knock.
Yeah.
How do you know?
Yeah, we gotta go through that process.
How do you know?
There's a lot of ways to figure out if it is or not, but just to rely on
6 weeks later, bearings all smashed out and bad times ahead.
Bad times ahead. Bad times ahead. So that's kind of the general basis of the 3 versions of flex fuel, what it is and who it's for. You know what I mean? And yes, call it what you want, a sales pitch for our censored flex fuel. Absolutely.
Maybe.
It's our live, it's our channel, and absolutely. But it's also the reasons why we came up with that system and why we offer this system, because we do believe in it and we do feel that it's superior for many reasons compared to the others. So yeah, I mean, it works, but sadly Dodge doesn't do it. Oh, and probably somebody's gonna, maybe not now, but the Demon 170 censored flex fuel.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess this is a 4th one because we were one of the first. I think AJ beat us to it quick, a little before, but we proactively advertised the Demon 170 Retro Flex Fuel that we could put on 18 and newer vehicles. We have several out there running it. So what's the difference between that and, let's say, our censored flex fuel? Okay, the Demon 170 Flex Fuel uses an ethanol content sensor, 100%. I mean, what they did is they basically wired it into their logistics and their calibration settings from the inferred logic. So that's how it kind of incorporates into it in the back end. It's very interesting how they pulled it off. Basically, it was a last year, hurry up, how can we make this work without redesigning the whole PCM?
Just make it work, damn it.
Yeah, so it's very cool how they did it.
They could have just asked us.
They also did make their own, get their own special ethanol content sensor. We did try putting our standard aftermarket one we use in, but they have a different calibration for theirs.
Of course they did. It's Dodge.
Yeah, so it is different for anybody that might be trying it the same thing we did. So you do need to get a Demon 170 sensor. You do need the same type of PCM that the Demon 170 has for it to work if you want to retro it. It basically works like a more modern, it's like a GM style, right, where it's an ethanol sensor that feeds into the factory PCM. Ironically, though, there are no safeties in place for it.
They said, well, you're going to blow it up.
So it adjusts fuel, it adjusts timing, which obviously adjusts the torque settings because of the fuel delivery, but that's it. You know,
That's
so
all you get, guys.
It's kind of a blend of ours and the inferred logic and the fact of the settings it changes and, you know, the things that go into place for it. Yes, it displays on the dash if you have a Demon 170, which is cool. The horsepower number changes on the dash, obviously, for those, which is pretty cool. But there's no safeties, meaning boost doesn't bleed when you're on pump gas.
Yep. That's scary.
You know what I mean? So, and like
18 pounds on 93. Let's go.
Demon 170s run 21, 22 pounds of boost from the factory.
I'm just saying for like.
Oh no, I'm
cars,
just saying
yeah,
it's crazy that they say
that's terrifying.
Yeah.
You know them, and then they do that stuff.
Yeah, but if anybody you're on pump gas on a Demon 170, you are running negative timing under wide open throttle. So
yes.
Anybody that understands, you know, timing and how engines work, no bueno.
Our connection.
Where'd it go?
Hey guys, we're a bunch of pixels right now.
Oh wow, what happened there? Move this.
Yeah.
Oh, the clouds are coming in.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh. So much for better quality.
Yeah, when we get clouds, our Wi-Fi goes out.
Yeah, thanks, Verizon.
And birds. So like migratory season is a
Semis too.
Semis.
They drive by at the right
Yep.
angle. Yep, that happens. So
Dump trucks,
hopefully you can
horses,
hear us. But
cows.
yeah, so Demon 170s, they run negative in an attempt to save itself. But anybody that understands, like we were saying, timing, tuning, engines, and how they work, when you're at 22 pounds of boost, wide open throttle, especially cat kicking in, cat over temp protection, nice and rich, and you're right retarding timing, man, that's a lot of heat going a lot of places I'm not a fan of. So this is why I advise my Demon 170 customers, like, I get what they tell you to do, but I just strongly recommend to not abuse them on pump gas. So again, no real safeties in place, no boost bleed, nothing like that. They simply just use timing and fuel and adjust accordingly there for flex fuel. So it is a censored flex fuel, which is great. It's better than the inferred in my opinion. So it is good in that sense. There's a couple things about the Demon PCM that we know that a lot of people don't know, that I'm not a fan of it 100%.
The inside's jello. I don't know. I can just say stuff.
That you can just say stuff. So it's not jello, but not a fan of how that works. So, but yeah, I think that's pretty much.
That's kind of it.
They're very straightforward. People know flex fuel's been around for a while. So, like I said, we're visiting it because our Facebook Live version of this was deleted. So we have to make a new one. So we'll post it up for easier.
I don't know. I think I might have sweared on 2 episodes. Which,
Maybe.
if you guys know me in person, you know is an astounding feat.
Yeah.
I can't get us demonetized, baby. It pays for the TV.
Yeah, Justin, good question. So, well, what I tell people about our flex fuel system about racing on pump gas when you're a high boosted application. So, again, we are limited by the factory PCM, and it is a computer in place that we're trying to make do things that it's not. So, we bleed the boost, but what we have noticed. Early on, it was fine, but as they came out with different calibration IDs, what we noticed is similar to like an O2 sensor, it would bleed the boost, and if you did like a long 9-second quarter-mile pass with it bleeding the boost, it occasionally would kind of close the bypass valve just to check again to see, you know, if the boost and all the settings were okay. And, you know, it's one of those you want to be racing halfway down the track on 93, you know, with
like,
3 pounds of boost.
Let's check on my boost again.
And then
it gives you 22.
All of a sudden, it just blips the bypass valve just to make sure everything's there, and then it gives you all the boost again, you know what I mean, while I'm pump gas. Although the timing is in place to try and save it, but that only goes so far when your stock engine, stock compression, and so on and so forth. So we do recommend not to heavily abuse it. It's a safety.
Yeah.
It more so along the lines like, oh, you're on a road trip, you fill up on pump gas, and you need to pass somebody real quick. You can make a little hit, go around them, and not worry about the car blowing up, right? Or if you're taking off from a light and have to move out of somebody's way because they're coming up on your tail, you can goose a little bit and get out of the way and not worry.
But it's not like, oh man, I'm out on vacation in Tennessee and I can't find no 85. Let's go 93 octane roll racing on my 23 PSI Hellcat. That's a bad time. That's a bad idea. Here's a bad man. Come on. Real bad man.
And there's his walk.
Real bad thing.
Yep. So, yeah, so good question. We do get asked it. It's kind of, you know, one of those like relying on traction control to keep you straight type thing. It is still a computer at the end of the day that we're manipulating. So,
yeah.
I don't recommend it just because the last thing I want is to try it and then it just blips 22 pounds out of nowhere and you have all of the boost on a pump gas. So.
Well,
not recommended.
Piggybacking off of that, if I'm traveling, doing racing, whatever the heck I'm doing, maybe a road trip or something, let's say I got me a Hellcat, right? E85, all that jazz. I'm driving around. Okay, I've put 93 in it. Now I have gotten into the sticks. They ain't even have 93. All they have is 91. Can I run 91 octane on a flex tune? Does that change anything?
I have an answer for you. So 91 versus 93. Great question. 93 are very close together. But the reality of the answer is that the fuels do a lot more in regards to power capability. So the truth is you should not run a 93 tune with 91. So generally, depending on the setup, I am more of a conservative tuner, especially when it comes to pump gas and quality. What?
It's getting worse.
Yeah.
So
because you walked in through the door, opened it up.
Go on YouTube.
This is YouTube.
Oh.
This is literally the stream. That's why I have it there. So it'll come back. Hopefully they can hear us. That's the only thing we can. But we're trying. Clouds don't help.
It's
so
bad.
Generally, yes, I would require to know what fuel's in it. So like we say, we tune it for what fuel is in the tank when it's here. We around here have 93. If you have 91, let us know. It's a very quick and easy setting adjustment for that. Minor, but oh man, it's not coming back, huh?
No, it's
The wind's picking up too, so no rain, but it's cloudy. So yeah, good question. Definitely something to keep an eye on is the fuel. Now again, if you have a flex fuel tune and it was originally tuned on 93 because where you're at, you're going on a road trip, can you put 91 in it and drive it? Absolutely. Just again, avoid heavy abuse on it. You know what I'm saying?
Drive it like it's a Prius C in the right lane.
Oh my gosh. Also, we do have a couple, depending on the setup, right? You might have a big 426 with a ported blower and still making 16 pounds of boost, so you can abuse it on pump gas or E85. The boost bleed feature is not enabled all the time. It is application specific. So depending on your overall setup, would determine if you can abuse it on pump, in a manner of racing it. Justin, to answer your question more in detail. So we do have a lot of guys with big motors and, cams, long tube headers, and they're pulled to high heaven, but they only make 16 pounds of boost because we built efficient engines. They can abuse it and race it on pump gas and or E85, so or anything in between. So it is application specific, but a good question. So Eric, when do we get AI for traction control? The HP Tuners Core standalone ECU, which we are waiting for. We haven't got back yet.
No
the update. So hopefully get updated one, and his Magnum twin turbo Magnum started with HP Tuners Core, but that standalone unit does have AI traction control.
I just got hook and wheel speed sensors. I haven't done that.
But I mean, it literally is. You just hook up your wheel speed sensor, and then you tell it the approximate slip you want from your tire at a given mile an hour, and it does the rest for you. So it is coming. We are hoping to work with them and incorporate these more so into factory type setups. Yeah, oh yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, we got to play with it at a course where they introduced and trained us on it a little bit. It is very, very cool.
Who has a set of 24s I can borrow? Also, who has a big wheel racing event that I can enter? Well, yeah, traction control. I don't really have to worry about the kind of tires I got. And those old big wheel races got big pots, and I want to pay off my car by racing it, which is a strong, good financial investment.
This helps it. Give a little signal instead of a metal door. Let's see if it fixes it. Oh, it made it brighter too.
It did.
Yeah, so the HP Tuners Core is awesome. They added a couple other AI features I can't fully talk about yet, but they'll be coming out soon. So hopefully we'll be able to test them out in this guy's car. Hey, look, it helped.
It did.
It's working.
Wow.
I fixed it.
Except for that breeze. It's 36 degrees out. That's what my car says.
Yeah, it's okay.
I don't know if
I know you don't like cold.
I know.
You can tell you're
The heater turned on today, folks.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, so
that was good.
Speaking of AI, if you guys haven't, for newcomers on our YouTube, if you go to SateraTuning.com, at the top there's a little Satera Tuning Beta AI link you click on. We have a couple programs on there, and it's been great so far.
Do they have a release date yet? No.
So, well, the core is out. You can buy the core. We are the first ones putting it on a Mopar or Hemi. So right now it's plug and play stuff for LS vehicles, 4L80s and things like that. We are kind of the innovators when it comes to the Hemi community. So we are working with them to eventually get full, ZF transmission tuning and everything incorporated with it, so we can kind of basically, I'm just going to be honest, I'm trying to get it to a point where it's similar to like the Gateway Holly setup, where we can get a plug and play setup that we utilize the dash, because it does have canvas control. So yeah, so it's one of those. What did you say?
Car keeps going into limp mode at end of burnouts, ?
Give us, shoot us over a data log. I'll tell you why. Usually it's because you're hitting a rev limiter. So
you might be getting too spicy with her there, John Force.
Yeah, so usually it's a transmission rev limiter that's in place because we don't want to see planetary gears or anything like that exploding and clutches and things out on the track.
Makes for a good show only one time.
Yeah, so that's usually what is a safety for some sort. Get it over and I can verify. But yeah, but yeah, the core is out, and it's just we're working with the Hemis to get it where it needs to be. So, but as I was saying, for our little AI program that we have there, some feedback we've gotten from customers. I had some customers at the racetrack over the weekend when I wasn't accessible, so they actually uploaded their data logs there, and were able to get some feedback from it. So if you don't know what it's doing, is it not only can you upload a data log and it prints out like a 0 to 60 time. What happened?
It's cold.
0 to 60 time, 40 to 100 time, and 60 to 130 time. But it analyzes the data log for you, so it'll give you kind of a breakdown of timing, it like peak timing under watt, peak boost levels, analyze the knock sensors, fuel trim, misfires, and things like that, and kind of will spit out a little assessment for you. It also for those acceleration timers, so it's pretty cool to see. If you're not at track, for example, and you're doing testing on the street in Mexico, you can compare two logs at the same time to essentially see any type of improvements, changes, this, that, and the other. We have a leaderboard on there where you can upload to the leaderboard to compare to where you are with other people. We lost signal again, so it's the weather, it's not me.
Like, where's my phone? It's there.
Yeah. So, pretty cool things there. There is a second program in there. Some people haven't seen it yet, but after you go to the first one at the top, there's a overall AI log review, which does a more in-depth detailed breakdown. I'm setting that up for troubleshooting and just type of verification pieces, right? So for those that might have experienced it with me or not, but I'll get data logs with, bank-to-bank fueling variances, misfires in given conditions, knock sensor voltages doing weird things, errors when it comes to airflows and things like that. I've created a program that essentially analyzes the data logs to help diagnose and assess them for you. So again, if you can't get a hold of me and something happens and you're curious, you're going to be able to upload it and kind of help for troubleshooting there. And future plan for it, I am planning on putting a prompt system in there where you can actually ask it questions. So I'm working to try and develop, and it's not ChatGPT, so it's not going to be just a generic answer. I'm actually the one that's training it per se and programming the answers into it. So
Burger.
My burger, yes.
It's getting cold.
It is very cold.
From the door.
I know.
Guys,
so this isn't working. So
we're getting.
But yeah, so it's one of those of I'm going to improve it, have a chat prompt in it. So for example, new customer of mine getting ready to data log, and you want to know what spark plugs to get. It has drop down, you select all the modifications, and then you're going to be able to ask it questions based on that. So, what spark plug should I use and what gap should I put them to? Or, what could cause a misfire? Or, the questions you would ask the internet and stuff, you're going to be able to do directly through there. So that's kind of the next stage of what I'm working on it now. So check it out. It's fun. There is a YouTube video that we can send you if you don't know. Reach out to us of how to parse the data log. You can't upload a full HP tuner file. You have to export it as a CSV file. If you don't know how to do that, just contact us and we will share the link with you on how to. Once you do it once or twice, very easy to do. But that's how we have to make the system work for the time being. So
but it's working.
But it's working. Justin, for the burnouts and anybody else curious on a burnout, what we do is we disable traction control completely. Sometimes just throw it in track mode and hold the button, whatever. And then you put the shifter actually into manual mode, break the tires loose and shift to second gear and leave it in second gear. And you want to hover around 5,500 to 6,000 RPM. You don't want to ride the rev limiter, and you don't want to leave it in auto and let that your tire speed get crazy high. The amount of load that puts on the transmission is crazy. So, but yeah, it's usually some sort of limiter that's being hit, and or ABS is kicking in as well. You know, you got to make sure traction control is fully disabled, not using line lock or anything like that. And if it's not, you know, stability control is not disabled, it will cause the car to stall. So I can see all of that in the data log. So if you shoot me a data log over of it happening, I will be able to clarify. So, any other questions you can think of?
Man, I think that's it.
All right. Well, so I am leaving today to be home at 2:30 to go trick-or-treating. So everybody have a very safe and warm Halloween. Check that candy. Don't eat razors or needles.
Or do. We're not your parents.
Don't say that. Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah, we're a little different now. It's YouTube,
Oh,
bro.
that's true.
Yeah.
Check it. People put horrible things in candy all the time. Sometimes, last year I went trick-or-treating and I opened it up and I got a Ford Mustang. Do you know how sick of a person you have to be to give those out to children?
All right, Don, you're a show off. Not everybody makes 2,000 foot-pounds of torque.
Yeah,
all right?
okay.
With 300 shot of nitrous in the burnout box.
I was about to say, he sprays his shot in the burnout pit.
Yeah.
Just cooking it, brother.
Yeah. So, all right, everybody be safe. Happy Halloween. We'll see you guys next week. Over this one.